Okay, we're going to go back to what I said, Jamie Noel. And this is where we, the people of this nation, especially Indiana, we have a voice. I've noticed a few puppets, a few pages, now have a division going on. How do politicians get you to decide who to vote for? They trash each other during their campaigns. Well, I'm better for this position than so-and-so. And it causes a rivalry between the left and the right. The left's right, the right's wrong, the right's right, the left's wrong. That division's been for freaking decades. Been going on since we as a nation became a nation. It's caused division. One neighbor may be a Republican, another one Democrat. They like each other one day, they hate each other the next. It's exactly what's going on in the true crime community. And I don't care what side you're sitting on, but I do want you guys to open your eyes. We're going to start at Jamie Noel. Him, his wife, and his daughter. Look what's going on in Kokomo. The money laundering for the cartel. And look at his operation. You tell me that's not one and the same operation. The Good Old Boy Club. I've named it Kokomo's Good Old Boy Club, but it's multiple lower elected officials in a Good Old Boy Club. Why do you think this pandemic statewide has been so ravaging so many lives within the troubled community? Overdoses? Missing? Killed? The 70 cases I've got tied to this ring, 19 of which are killed and murdered children. The Good Old Boy Club locally in those respected areas, the smaller one. We're going to go into what scares me the most. It's not those little goons, the little street soldiers. It's the ones that are allowing them to do what they're wanting to do, no matter what the cost. At times you have individuals letting them know, hey, this person's about to roll on this person, and this is what on. Helps them find out where said person lives. Facts. And I want you to keep in mind, Carl Kuntz, before he was killed, he was about to go state and federal witness. But we're going to go on to Jamie Noel and his friends. And where his friends, where they go back to, who and what they are. We, the people, have the right to ask questions, especially when you see a batch of names that we're supposed to trust and vote in with our lives, our families' lives, our kids' lives. We have the right to ask questions. We have the right to demand resignations if we do not get those answers. And that's exactly why I'm calling for everybody to unite and give a voice, ask and demand for answers. And if they refuse, we are asking you to resign based off of who your friends are and where and what they are involved in. We have the right to know your own involvement. Are you involved? If so, we want you to step down respectfully, or we will push for a congressional judicial committee investigation be done on each and every single one of you and your lies in total disregard. When you took that oath of office, remember who you took that oath of office for. Us, we the people. It's us that got you in those positions, in your seat, our vote, that got you in, and it could be our vote that gets each and every single one of you out. We deserve answers. We deserve justice. And we deserve the ones that are corrupt to be a full federal RICO investigation be done. Because of where your friends, their operation, their issues, you are so many friends of yours. It's too many to count on too many of you. And their operations, what they're doing, many of these individuals, keep in mind, they're seeing their friends making millions at times, more than they will ever see throughout any of their elected roles, their pension, their retirement. They're seeing friends of theirs right next to them making millions. And you tell me the temptation's not there. There's a reason why Jamie Noel, when he got busted, he's showing the pictures he is. This is another friend of Jamie Noel. And I want you to see some of these individuals, their positions, and who they're friends with. Keep in mind, Mr. Sender, James Buck, we have the right to ask questions. We have the right, especially, to ask questions about your friends, what they're involved with, and what you are showing near multiple times. Your friends, like Michael here, goes back, just like you, friends with Jamie Noel. This is another friend of Jamie's. This is if you want to see anything about Jamie's charges, look that up. This is the investigator in the Indiana State Police that's leading Jamie Noel's case. I want each and every single one of you to make sure to give him a call, and the Congressional Judicial Committee. Each and every single one of them on that committee. Give them respectively a call and demand an investigation in Washington, D.C. on these elected officials and who they're friends with and where these friends, what they're involved with, the cartel money laundering going on in Kokomo. We have the right to ask questions and demand answers. And if we do not get those answers, we can demand them. We want individuals barred, disbarred, no longer allowed to run as an elected official. And we want a full investigation on them and their friends and who and what they are and where they go back to. We the people have that right to ask these questions and make these demands as a whole. We're going to get to Mark McCann. He's another one that was mentioned in the first video. The Kokomo Good Old Boy Club is what I call it. But its operations have been showing Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Terre Haute, Evansville, Delphi, Flora, some of these individuals, like Jason, I deem my stalkers. Come on my page, watch me word for word, anything and everything I say. Martha Lake, just like Nita Duff. Martha Lake, for a long time, I don't know if she still is, was the sitting county assessor in Howard County. When they buy these properties, work with these individuals that they already knew corrupt, their actions down in Florida, there's a KPD retired officer, runs a pretty big real estate company down, guess where? Florida. This is back to Jamie Noel's friends list. Many of those false businesses you've seen that were showing up, the business-wise was showing up, false names and everything like that. You would see Diego Morales, our Secretary of State, sitting as it sits right now. He's sitting, friends, with one Jamie Noel, facing 25 corruption and RICO charges himself. He knows the operation better than anybody. Better than I can even show it or say it. Statewide. High-ranking officials on both GOP and Democratic as well. They're one and the same, are in the same boat. Again, Jim Buck, Jamie Noel. When people are making fun of me, I'm saying, look, so what? You're looking at me like I'm Jimmy or Timmy, depending on the day. Like I'm a fucking retard. Just like they want you to think. But what I'm asking each and every single one of you is like, for your own eyes, go look. Ask questions. He's got his friends list blocked, but how you can get past the blocked friends list? Give me a second. Got an idiot drill by. Is go to some of his posts. You're able to see the commenters and the ones leaving certain things. It's friends and family. Upset individual. Anne Hathaway, another friend of Jamie Noel. Who is she, you ask? State Chief of Staff of the GOP party. Guess who? Senator Buck. Like I said, this is public information on public profiles. It's not slander. We have the right to ask questions of our elected officials who have now, each time they go to get into office, they must swear an oath to it. Our nation and we the people. Well, we the people are now asking questions. Michael Simpson, another friend of Jamie Noel. Jim Buck. And I think this is just sick. Because I'm going to let you read for yourself. On some of his posts on being a bully. It's easy. You all should know. And by the end of this video, I've been to many of these individuals' office. Calls, asking, begging for help. Begging for them to look into this ring. Now I'm starting to wonder on why they chose not to. There's nothing we can do. Sorry, we can't help you. And it's just sick. Every one of us can make a difference. Look at him and his friends. Look where they were elected to make a difference. Yeah. For each other. to hide justice. 70 missing murdered within the troubled community. Many of these are sitting cold, and they know a hell of a lot more. But then you're seeing the operations of some many know about. I can trust a politician as far as I can throw them, and that's not very far. We've seen time and time nationwide corruption where politicians, their friends. Indiana isn't alone out of that. We deserve the right to ask questions. Again, it's not slander when it's public information, you're holding public office, and you were elected in by we the people. We the people are now seeing this, and we the people are now asking, what the hell? What do you know? And if you were knowing this, you were involved in this, we are not asking. We're not just asking, we're demanding. Resign, quit, and we deserve an investigation done on what all they knew, to what extent, when it comes to their friends. Why were they not looked at? Their Masonic brothers not looked at? Evidence coming missing in more than one case? Things going missing, can't be found? Tweaked, reworked, more than one case? Like David Kallenberger. Indiana State Police is one of the last ones to see him alive. Left a biker in distress. Could see physically he was in distress. Bike broke down. No lights showing on the side of the road. When do you ever know of a cop car to leave instead of waiting with the lights on? It's just like somebody walking down the road. They don't leave until that person's picked up, or they themselves give them a ride. Again, Martha Lake, Howard County Assessor. Mark Warner. Again, Jim Buck. Here's where it gets really interesting. Remember a lot of what I just showed last night? And I want you to keep Delco in the back of your mind. Did he work with Bonnie Earlbeck, who retired from, guess where? Delco Electrics, Gabriellis' mom. We'll get to her at the top. Friends with Greg Goodnight, among other elected officials. Why do you think his child exploitation charges got thrown out? It's on who you know or who your family is connected with and what they're connected with. They don't want seen. Couldn't afford to be seen. This gives you an idea. Jack Dodd, Jeremy Dodd's dad, the same Jeremy Dodd, Indiana State Police. Look that document up. If need be, I'll get the original docket where Indiana State Police did an investigation and told Kokomo Police not to hire the new recruit, and why. Actions, what they did in Rushville. I just think it's odd that a Rushville Town Council member, his sudden, unexpected death after speaking out, yes, about the corruption done in Rushville, it's almost like he was silenced, like so many others. And I can show the exact time and date. I didn't search him up. I didn't add him. He found me, added me, just like so many others in the criminal network. I'm about to show you the suspects and their friends. We'll get to them. But before I do, I wanted to show you some questions I've been asking myself. Why has nobody, no matter where I went asking for help, keeps turning me away. Look who some of his friends are. Their operation, where they go back to, what they're doing for who. And when I'm asking, did justice get a voice as a federal informant, how I've been treated, beat down, bashed, I'm not all mentally here. Well, if I was so not mentally here, then none of this would make sense to me, and I would have no fucking clue what I'm looking at. I'm using skills that took me years as an FBI informant, and yes, I've used AKA Fed book multiple times. Threats being made to judges, among other issues. I've gotten federal cases tried, and convicts thrown in prison, federal prison, in multiple cases, based off the connections, the association, the criminal network analysis of their friendships, where they belong, the groups they belong with. It's so much easier for the criminal network, the good old boy club, that's protecting and hiding them. Before I go into the suspects, we're going to go into and we're going to look at Flora. I'm going to touch on a couple of names. You're going to see a certain last name. And when you do, you'll know the last name. In the Flora connection, back to the ring, they cannot afford this to be looked at and seen, and us to ask questions and demand answers. And if we do not get those answers in a timely manner, we are asking for resignations. A letter of apology is not going to fix the lives lost and the lives missing of your friends' operation and what they're protecting, and you know about it. There's no way in hell many of you do not know about it or what's going on. And it makes me wonder, did you make some calls high up yourselves? If this guy comes calling, push him away, turn him away. We'll get to that here in a minute and why I say that. Notice the last name, McClellan. Paul Wyman, one of the other key players in what I just showed last night. His real estate company, at the very top, at the very end, I'm going to show you Angie Rowe, one of his brokers. Bradley Bates, 2018 drug raid, among many others. One of his brokers, more than one of his brokers, his own family, and at times himself, has shown up to major dealers. He was actually there and was given the tour of the crime scene where Karina McClurkin lost her life, and was there giving a speech at his funeral. Then some of his own friendships, like Adam J. Pratt, multi-time felon. We're going to get to him. You're going to see some things about him, and I'll speak about it when we get there. Most of this, I'm just going to let you see with your own eyes and look, follow the names. Follow what I've already shown you. Back to Jamie Noel. Paul, last name, ring a bell? Ding, ding, ding. The name itself? Ding, ding, ding. Who are they and who's their family? Take a guess. Jordan Buckley. His partner was about to turn state and federal witness before he got killed. He's the only one that knows the real truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth of what happened that night. That and the $2,500 that was in his partner's truck that was confiscated earlier that day. It went missing after the shooting. Why and who took it? Who else was there? Bruce Rood, Howard County, the same Howard County, multiple. Same place Flint Farmer's being housed now. Oh yeah, Mark McCann grew up, went to school with Flint, and I've got the screenshots where he's sitting there friends with the same one he's trying to charge and take the sole fall to protect the rest of the ring. How can a criminal that's involved in partners with con artists, money launderers, people that are laundering money for this cartel, try a case that he was friends with above and beyond? Why aren't you recusing yourself of who you grew up with, went to school with, and you're now trying to set up to take the sole fall and let the others walk? Hell, at times you're giving protections to the same people that are involved in her case. And before you try going after me on that, well, guess what? A lot of those names that I dropped was before you ever let any witness be known. They were openly talking about their own involvement, down to like Gabriel Ellis telling Jerry McClurkin. What? Yes, Paige Turley did pick her up. The same Paige Turley I had to get a protective order as an active FBI informant. The agent refused to act on federal witness tampering, informant tampering, on people that are sitting in my own files while I was still an active informant. After one of our suspects lured and pressured his own roommate to his death, helped set up and orchestrate a murder, he let him walk. The current sitting sheriff, Howard County. Many of his staff multiple times not looking, not doing their rounds. And you think ones like Allen are safe, IDOC, when multiple of them go back in around this drug ring? Hell, Saxon Knights, the white supremacist group, Gabe Ellis belonged to down in Westville. He bought off the assistant director of Westville, among others, more than enough to allow him pretty much free access to bring whatever he wanted in. Paid the guards off to bring it in. Paid the ones over them to look the other way. It wasn't just him, it was his help. Who his mom's connected with, who he's connected with, what he had over them. Yeah. The same white supremacist gang member, Saxonite prison gang, it's white supremacy. Look it up. It's like skinheads. The same white supremacist that is behind 5 black girls' deaths. Him and his ring, his friends. The same friends, the same part of his ring that are all sitting on Galen Rose's lawsuit. Their names. They all go back to him in this ring. Just like multiple of Derek German's friends, Blaine McClelland's friends, William Duff's friends. Yeah. This is the same ring they were dealing for, and some of the same people they were getting supplied by. And it makes me wonder, did he make a call to Todd Rokita? He can take actions and look up some issues when it comes to Todd Rokita himself, allegations against him. Why else would he really not want to turn a blind eye to a sexually trafficked black girl in this ring? Did he get a phone call if I come calling? Then some of his own allegations against him, not Todd Rokita. I don't know, was it Rokita or was Carson? It was one of the two had the allegations against him. I gotta look it up before I go full into that. But Todd Rokita, did he make a phone call, get a phone call from this individual saying, if this individual, yes, he was a federal informant, Yes, he's a federal witness. If he comes asking for help at your office, and yes, I've got recorded office, Todd Rikita's office, pretty much telling me, oh, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we will do. Sorry about your luck. Sorry about these lives lost. Oops, our bad. David Tharp, the deputy mayor, he was friends with a murdered individual when he got murdered, among others, just like Greg Goodnight, the mayor over him. Mark Jansen, they need a good tax company if they're trying to avoid taxes, like Jamie Noel did. A lot of these individuals, they gotta have a nice little tax buddy to help them fudge the records and kind of avoid taxes where Uncle Sam doesn't catch on. Because it's kind of sick. Mark Jansen, where I'm seeing him around even some big dealers in this ring that were busted. Makes me wonder. See, Richie's trying to become commissioner. Tom Micklick, he sits on the town council. We will get to the town council's members next. Both Howard and like the Howard County Council. We're going to go into the commissioners, both Howard and Carroll, the county county council, then the city council of both Howard, Kokomo and Delphi, their friends that all go back in and around this. And then sometimes they themselves are involved with exactly what I just showed you that's going on in Kokomo. The Good Old Boy Club, the same Good Old Boys Club that former Judge Fouts, now Attorney Fouts, still belongs to. Judge Hans Pate. Congresswoman Victoria Sparks. I just got done calling her office not too long ago, begging her for help. And I'm starting to wonder, did they get calls ahead of me or they're asking around? Don't listen to this guy. Don't act. Don't even bother looking that direction. He's nuts. Not so nuts now, am I? Jeremy Dodd. Mark McCann. Another McClellan. Angie Rowe. Like I said, we'll get to her here in a few. Chuck Pickard. Who's Chuck Pickard, you ask? I went against a local slumlord that's still on the HUD list and allowing to victimize other tenants in a lawsuit, civil rights lawsuit, and I won. But the city council attorney he had that works for the city, every city council meeting, if the city council gets sued or anything like that, he's their go-to man. When that slumlord came attacking me, threats, intimidation, harassment, even after being warned not to, Chuck is one of his, he works for the city during the day, but after hours, he's working for this slumlord. Makes me wonder if it's ghost employment. Really makes me wonder. But another issue with Chuck Pickard, the firefighter exposing himself to an underage girl, a KPD officer who was stealing narcotics. Then there's a Chuck Jansen, being a sexual predator. belonging to St. Patrick's. The same St. Patrick's, when I was back in October 8th, 2018, talking in that interview room, there was an officer. I gave the name out plenty of times, telling the guy that I was going to St. Patrick's with, if I was to continue going, he would be forced to take a loaded firearm in response to me coming unarmed to a church. I stopped going. Then I was told by this Catholic that I need to give up my gun and say sorry to a corrupt piece of shit officer. For what? Nothing? That I legally own a gun, legally carry with a CCW permit, now lifetime? Thank you very much. I'm not giving it up. I legally hold it. I've done nothing legally wrong, and it's what's legally keeping me alive. And you know this, and you're telling me to give up my gun just because you're anti Second Amendment? You're anti-gun? Excuse me. No. Not how life works. Expect these individuals with my life in their hands, me unarmed? 7 seconds, a lot can happen. And the 7 minutes waiting for that first responder to get there, it's an average to 7 to 10 minutes. The call goes out, dispatch comes, and on average, it's about 7 minutes later, if not later, do they ever show up. A lot can happen in that 7 minutes. So giving up my legally owned gun? No thank you. Psychologically, I'm 100% cleared. Been that way for years now. Years. Decades. What now? Clean psych evaluation every 2 weeks. Go in and see my psych doctor. Do I need my PTSD sleep meds? The nightmares, kind of keep them at bay while I'm trying to sleep. The flashbacks, kind of keep those at bay. It only happens mainly when I'm sleeping. Waking up in cold sweats, screaming, not being able to go back to sleep, be able to close your eyes, it's hell. Then when you do, it's a short bit, you're back up 8, 9 a.m. the next day after staying up 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, not being able to sleep even with taking your sleep meds. It's hell. Mark McCann, Paul Wyman. Easy Zimmerman. If you look up Easy Zimmerman and the deputy chief of police, when her daughter was getting a divorce, the corrupt act she did against the divorcee husband of her daughter, the legal use of her badge, and it's documented. What happened to the police accountability law? It was in effect when she's using her badge. My daughter gets everything she wants and deserves, or threats were made. Easy Zimmerman was out there at the sheriff's department, documented on that issue, helping her. And she's now sitting the deputy chief of police. When her own actions, corrupt actions, have been documented, and it's been public knowledge for years now. The legal use of a badge in the collar of law, threats being made like Liggett did me to shut me up and keep me from exposing what I am now. Mark Buchanan, A.J. O'Shea, multi-felon, violent felon at that. Look his history up. Tyler Moore. Some of these names you'll see here later on, and some questions I have. This is Tyler Moore. A lot of these names would make a hell of a lot more sense, but Jim Buck, Martha Lake, keep that in mind. High-ranking GOP officials like Jamie Noel. What he was doing, it's the exact same thing that's going on in Kokomo. So like I said, Jeffrey Herron, Indiana State Police, detective over that. Then the Congressional Judicial Committee. We demand answers. We demand actions, and if need be, we demand resignations, effective immediately. Caleb Nutter picked up 2018 raids, dealing. Deborah Buckles Toth. Her son sits on KPD, as you see. Her son's the same one. If you watch the video of a man getting beat for holding a Bible and a cross, he wasn't even mentally there, and they're beating the shit out of this guy at Haynes Apperson. The same Haynes Apperson Paul Wyman, his company, puts on each year. He has a heavy hand in the actions. Then his friends, their family friends, going back to this ring, and I'm not supposed to ask questions? What the fuck, and how they get by? Qualified immunity for beating the living shit out of somebody that was asking people, can I say prayers for you? That's harassment when he's not even mentally there. Give the guy a second. Let him say a prayer for you. No, we're going to beat you and throw you in jail for it. Adam J. Pratt, look his history up. Multi-felon, violent felon at that, and when he does have a warrant on him, he's allowed to walk freely. Just like Andrew Robert Smith. Gabriel Ellis, sweetheart deals. Child exploitation taken off. Knowing if that stuck, he would have automatically been severely looked at when it comes to Delphi that he had involvement in. That ring had involvement in. Like I said, this third video where I'm showing the Carroll County, Miami County, Lafayette, Frankfurt, Flora. When I open up that can of worms back to these ties and operation issues that they go back into, just like I'm showing the uppers, the bigger individuals, and asking questions legally as a voter, as a taxpayer, I have the right to ask along with thousands other nationwide. There's millions of eyes, millions of voices. Mine doesn't get heard. We the people as a whole have the right to ask questions and demand answers and resignations immediately. If these individuals are you involved, keep that in the back of your mind. Investigation gets done. Shows that yes, you had involvement, you were getting money from your friends' operations, what they're involved in. Resign. Don't even bother an apology letter of apology and why I'm stepping down, why I'm resigning. Don't even bother. We already know why. We're going to ask for a federal investigation done by the Judicial Committee on you and individuals like you and up to higher ranking individuals, their friends, and the operation issues they go back to. Adam J. Pratt, another judge that's been tried over many of a friend of hers cases, sweetheart deals. Mark McCann gave him those sweetheart deals. And one thing about Adam, every single dealer, gotta get a drink, hold on. Every single dealer in the 2018, 2020, 2022, it's the same cartel, barely getting touched. We're going to show at least two of the kingpin family members. Cavazos, I'm probably butchering that, don't care, and Gonzalez. Back to elected officials even they're friends with. You'll see that here coming up. This, if you look, when I was still an informant, I've still got text and everything as an active FBI informant. I had to get a protective order. I've got this exact protective order in a folder. Why? I've got the new chief of police fingerprints on this, the new mayor, Tyler Moore, fingerprints on this, and nobody's touches besides me. So when I was talking about Karina McClurkin's case being allowed, individuals allowed to walk, continue to be allowed to go on to Delphi, Flora, other cases of murder, them and their friends, the ones in and around this ring, was allowed to take lives, and attempting to take my own, them and their friends, they cannot see they didn't say once. They never did see this. I've got an actual video where Tyler Moore and the new chief both read this, and it was heard word for word what I was saying. I had somebody nearby, they were videotaping it. That and got still pictures of you talking to me. You're holding this exact document in your hands, and they heard, and I actually recorded word for word everything I told you. And if there's any truth to this, you will do everything in your power, yeah, to hide your friends, what they're involved with, the sweetheart deals, the contracts, that you know what's going on in the city of Kokomo, Howard County, Carroll County, Miami County, Tippecanoe, Tipton County, Frankfurt. The areas of operation of this drug ring, many of you know exactly what's going on, down to the former KPD officer who's friends with Robert Baker, Robert Ives, many of the names that I've said, and then some. His own words, you seen in the last video. When it comes to corruption, where to look. Any elected official. That's a former KPD and the school resource officer at the girls' school. But yet, blue protects blue, corruption hides corruption. If this is going on even higher up, we have the right to know and we have the right to ask questions. And yes, Paige Briantilli is documented in my records of being involved. And then there's others that actually said her vehicle was used to move Karina's body from the crime scene. The crime scene there. The same one, Blaine McClellan, admits that yes, I was there. I wasn't involved, but I was there. In writ. When it comes to Bradley Bates, that's another thing I want you to keep in mind. When it comes to children, I'm standing up even for theirs, past and present. Just like Megan and Josh's new child, toddler. Parents like that, especially one that murdered a child, I fear for that child and any children around them and their neighbors' own children's lives. Their own mom said, "You've done it." Will they do it again to your neighbor, your own child? You gotta fight that urge. Now you know what it feels like. And then tell your mom word for word, and she said it to me in writ. She told me she did it just to see what it felt like. And like I said, he was picked up in the 2018 raids. Then I want you to keep this in mind. The 22-minute mark, approximately 14:41 Delphi time. I'm at the crime scene. It's cordoned off. Are there supposed to be people up here? I don't have any idea. I don't see the FBI personnel down here right now, so I don't know. At this point, just act like they're not in play and keep them at bay if you can. Affirmative. Why is the Delphi defense bringing this up? Why were they keeping the FBI at bay, away from the scene? The same FBI that was already up there doing surveillance and an investigation against suspects like Brad Holder. And then the FBI even, oops, we don't know what happened to the Keegan Klein and Mike Patty at the gas station marathon video. We don't know what happened to that. Remember the Gatorades? The real sudden, unsuspected death of the cashier that let it be known and showed the receipt? Now dead? And keep in mind, the Patties, Derek, Anna, they're all friends with more than one murderer that's sitting behind bars for murder. For what? For this ring. Admitted it. Nathan White, remember yesterday? A lot of these names, it's going to make a hell of a lot more sense. And if they go and try to run, good luck. I've already got it documented. I got over 17,000 screenshots in this phone alone. The other SD cards, I've got thousands. I've documented everything. One thing I was hella taught to do, no matter how big or small, document it all. There's a puzzle that piece will fit into somewhere. Just like I've documented this, and I'm asking questions now. Not only as a voter, Republican, which I actually helped vote some of these individuals in office. My own vote went to them, thinking I could trust them with my life, my family lives, and the children's lives around me. Only to now see their friends and where their friends go back to and the issues that they go back into. And then some of these individuals, where they sit. You're supposed to trust your lives with them. Chuck Jansen, that's another one. Look up his child exploitation. Then he was being accused of it at the Catholic school that hired him, knowing that he was a child sexual predator to little boys. Trying to give favors, money, texting little boys, asking them to do sick acts. St. Patrick hired him at the Catholic school after he got fired for doing the same shit to little boys. Texting, like, ooh, treat daddy. Wait. He wasn't having them calling him daddy. He was calling these little boys daddy. Like, dude, tell little boy what to do, daddy. Hey, daddy, can I get some pictures if I give you this? Or if I give you this much money, daddy? This is how he was talking to little boys. St. Patrick, the elected officials, friends of his, all go to that same church. The church protected him. Still is. Just like the child exploitation firefighter exposing himself to an underage minor babysitter. The comments he was making her, like Chuck did to little boys. Do you like what you see? I know I like what I see. Again, protecting child predators within that Catholic church. Even Tyler Moore goes to church at. This is who they protect. Like Gabriel Ellis. We're going to help drop those charges and protect a child predator. Not getting looked at in Delphi and refuse to look at him. Even though Sarah Daly, cousin. Later on, you'll see that full conversation. I showed the little bit. You see the bigger part of that. And what forced her to say, I don't think she was. She read what I put, then her answer. They knew what happened. Who did it? Who was involved? Delphi. just like they did Karina, and they were letting their boyfriends know that she was dead, 48 hours missing. Then the Florida issue, they kept that alive. Oh yeah, that might have been here in Florida, knowing, even her mom knowing, that there was a firefighter involved. She gave me a name. I want you to look up Von Kirby, the one that said he was a threat. We knew that to women and kids. We had to watch them while we were on duty. Look at Von Kirby's own felony. He was trying to tell me, yeah, keep looking at Ricky. Couldn't see the ties and connections, like I said in one of my other lives. Like I do Von all over the place, back to Tyler French, Gabriel Ellis, that ring, Dillers in that ring, Pudge Papacholo, which is Reggie Valentine, among others, Michael Jones, aka Mike Jones. Then Ashley. I got all her friends list still. This is from Jerry and the family, both sides. She left Flint's home. She was going off on me. I asked her, you all admit you got texts and missed calls, voicemails, begging for a ride? None of you had the time. Who was there when she needed somebody the most? You happened to be at the right spot at the right time. Even Gabe Ellis's own admission, recorded, audio and video, with a visit with her out there at Howard County, admits, yes, Paige Trilly did stop. It was Michael Phillips. Yes, he did stop and help her. Paige did pick her up from where they were standing, and they took her out to my trailer. Like I said, both of their stories went every which way, and you're about to see why. Mike Jones' crew, Reggie Valentine, the cartel. He worked for Mike Jones and Reggie Valentine, just like I've told you all. His own words. How can Paige say Paige wasn't involved? She's a liar. How he knows this? I asked him about the Gabe Ellis's daughter's apartment. He backtracked in this next one. He didn't run that trap house. And on Karina's case, he didn't run anything. He wasn't running anything on that trap house, that operation that was going on that night. I was just there. What he knew on his own blood brother. How do you think him and Gabe became aka blood brothers? It's what he knew, and he kept silent on, letting his own uncle take the full fall. When he was actually there, he seen the crime scene, and yes, he knew about the hole behind the mirror in Gabe Ellis's daughter's apartment. How he knew that? You're seeing it for your own self. But yet, this is why on Sonny's live, I told you to stop talking to my fucking mom. I fucking warned you. Was said. He's acting one way, but yet what he was hiding from his own mother, he knew more than enough. Yes, if his uncle was involved, he would know that and to what extent. But he himself chose his blood brother, non-relation, Gabriel Ellis, and was feeding Gabe Ellis's ass information. But it was shortly after he got in contact with Gabe was he silenced when he's now been talking. And it's just like Jeremy Patterson. It makes me wonder, was he going to be like, oh shit, it's only a matter of time till he sees and goes back and reads the responses? And I kept hinting to him, you've already hinted before. But he's trying to say he didn't run that trap house. But now I taught her how to hustle. There's a difference. She ran that house with her dad, trap house wise, drug house, just like the two drug houses in Delphi. The white car, paper plates. It's a silver pearly, like a silver, almost white looking from a distance Mustang Paige Turley got shortly after Karina's case. She got rid of the truck that she used to move her dead body, and just like right after Delphi, she got rid of the car with paper plates. I'm just going to let you guys read this. I'm going to let it sit for a second. The admission. Keep that in your head. Brad Bache. Angie Rowe. Who she is and who he is. Drug warrant. 1 count dealing meth. Level 3 felony. 1 count dealing meth. Level 4 felony. Cite charge. Possession of meth. Level 5 felony. And a recovered handgun by a felon involved in a federal crime. And she's friends with multiple of those dealers that were picked up in multiple raids. Let that sink in. Jesse Gonzalez and his family, it's one of the Kingpin family members. Look at Paul, his buddy's operation. A lot of this really picked up steam when he was sitting at the head commissioner of Howard County. Look at all the money. Follow the money. Follow the money trail. His real estate company is the ones that put Haynes Apperson on and helps with the music throughout the season. But when it comes to Haynes Apperson, the millions his company's making off the city, it'll blow you away. His same real estate company, a lot of these individuals, especially the 3 down in Florida, the officer that got caught stealing narcotics on duty, high on duty, there's an officer that I actually trust out of them all. I'm not going to give his last name for the sake of his safety. What he's let me be in on, let me know some of the things he knows. It's sick. Hold on. But yes, like I said, Jesse Gonzalez. The Gonzalez family is one of them. The Kingpin family members. And it's kind of shocking, not so much when you're finding high-ranking elected officials friends with Kingpin family members of this ring. Tyler Moore's wife, Jeremy Dodd and his wife, another already has an investigation, a Brady violation for helping a corrupt Brady violation deputy chief of police. Cavazos, that's another one. Again, just like every dealer in the raids, Adam and others are friends with Kingpin members. This is one of the best images I've ever seen of Greg Goodnight. Why? And like I said, Adam, follow the criminal network. What I'm about to show, but like I said, just like I'm showing here, I'm going to show the issues. Town councils. We're going to do probably all 3 in a smashed video. Carroll County, Howard, Miami. The counties are already named. We're going to get into those in deep dive. There's some other friends of Kyle Stacy's I found. Adam J. Pratt. And when I've told you guys My ex kind of took a shoddy picture of me, but yes, if you look at my images and everything, that's me on a rescue squad. A lot of the things we did was up to and including search and rescue. Then, like I even let Becky Patty know, the co-defendant of Derek's that held a hell of a vengeance, a grudge. Derek was allowed to roll 2008 on Derek, his ammonia theft along with him. He had to sit back and he failed an attempt to try to get his case appealed. He failed the appeal. He had to sit his whole time. It's kind of shocking when individuals like Tyler look the way they've attacked me, like they're now trying to attack Todd Click. Bonnie Earlbeck, Gabriel Ellis's mom. Well, who's that? The mayor at the time, Greg Goodnight.